Now, I wanted to refer to a series of FOIs that NBN Co has recently released. The first was released on 9th of May 2014 in response to an application made by Jay Zeno, the now 17-year-old, the 16-year-old when he first started following this more closely than some would consider healthy. The information released in this FOI states that 81 FSAMs were released across Australia for physical design between 1 September 2013 and 31st of March 2014, including 2 FSAMs in the ACT, 12 in New South Wales, 4 in the NT, 17 in Queensland, 19 in SA, 8 in Victoria and 19 in WA. The second FOI, released by NBN Co on the 26th of May 2014 to Mr Josh Stewart, lists the, and I can give you the number, lists the suburbs for the 8 FSAMs of Victoria: Mount Clare, Canadian, Mount Helen, Buninyong, Melton West, Granville, Shepparton, Shep North, Congupna, Marupna, Shepparton East, Orvale and Epping. And a series of subsequent FOIs were released on 26th of May and 23rd of June, listing the suburbs undergoing physical design across each of those 81 FSAMs. Now, I would probably say to you, why does a 17-year-old kid have to put an FOI in to get information that should be readily publicly available and should be, frankly, up on a website, or at least if we ask, you can provide it to us simply. I mean, you've got a 17-year-old kid who's got to fill out forms, spend his own money just to find out information that should be readily available.
Right. So, Senator, we believe in transparency and putting that information out. You know, we want to make sure that when we do, it's reliable and can be counted on by the people that need to look at it. The recent improvements that have been made on the website include what we call this preparation phase, and whether you want to call it one of the design steps of constructions issues or designs issued, it is a component that lets consumers know if preparation has began within their respective neighborhood. And for those that want to see it nationally, they can also look on the website to see it nationally. We also then change the color and the data to show when it has moved into a construction commenced phase, that you can therefore look and assume that there is a contract now for construction. And then the final stage, of course, is RFS, ready for service, to where service providers are going to be contacting them about selling the service. So those 3 categories we feel are very important to put out. There's a number of other stages that Greg has along the way that sometimes we feel are relevant, sometimes not. Often if they're misinterpreted, we'd rather not that be out there without a proper explanation behind this. The final bit I would say on this, because I know this is important to you and important to the Australian public, is that if we're entering into key contracts and terms and spending taxpayers' monies, we do want to be transparent about this. If we've entered into an agreement and a contract, we do want that to be up in public, and we're working on how to be able to do that right now.
So much of this information was available previously, and without revisiting all of our old arguments, it's been removed, and I congratulate you on putting up new information, not as comprehensive as previously, but I congratulate you on putting up more information. So the green sections, if I can borrow from your colour coding. So we've got purple active, brown under construction, green preparation. It seems to me, from understanding the process from your internal flowcharts of here to here, previous arrangement was probably about here where it got published. You've moved it. You've about halved the area from there to there. None of that will make sense to anyone who's listening, unfortunately. But is there a reason you won't provide information about when design instructions are given to a company to commence design? I can't imagine why that would possibly be. You've got control of the process now. You've been there for 10 months. You removed other information claiming it misled. Let's not waste the time on the argument. But when you issue a contract, when you spend taxpayers' money to tell a company to do a design document, what is the problem with telling the Australian public when that's happened and for which area?
So, Senator, you'll recall before I started NBN Co, the Tier 1 contractors under the design and construction contracts were handing back design, saying we're not doing design anymore.
Tragically,
and I think they believe they took design in-house. Since I started there, as you know, there is criteria going on being finalised now around how we're going to design a multi-technology mixed environment. And whilst there is a fair amount of what you would call broadly design going on, there is no commitment, and this is what Mr. Morrow and myself keep saying. There's designs going on and they're continuously changing, prioritising as we learn more and more information. So to put anything on a website that would lead to a perception that something was going to happen before we do something like starting to prepare for build only opens us up to misinterpretation and a whole series of, again, questions in forums like this that we just can't answer.
I'll come back to going forward, okay?
Okay.
You've issued a whole range of design instructions for fibre to the premises at the moment, which is all you're doing this year. You're only doing fibre to the premises this year. That's publicly stated by Mr. Turnbull downwards.
Yes.
So what is the problem with letting people know where you have decided to do fibre to the premise, because that's all you're doing this year, and revealing that you've issued a design instruction and you've therefore let a contract to somebody? I accept it started off in-house, it went out-house, it came back in-house, it's gone out, and now it's come back in. And now it's partially out after you've done different things. So yeah. I'm fully across the design issue.
That's good.
And so you've got control of it now. It's been 9 months, you've got it settled. You're comfortable with that process. What is the problem with telling people for the ones you've already issued? Now, I accept the point you make about the future, because some people might think, because there's a design instruction being issued for something that you sort of think, well, that may or may not be Prem versus Node. I get that. But right now, everything that's out there in the design phase, or maybe not quite everything now, depending on how advanced you are, but almost everything out there is for fibre to the prem.
That's not correct.
So you've already issued some designs for material for areas that you think will be fibre to the node?
No, we are doing a whole series of design work now, and while designs are being done, and part of the multi-technology mix is the economic rationale. So you look at an area, you may do a fibre design to work out what the pricing will be. You may do a fibre to the node design, and that's the point. And until we decide on whether we're going ahead with one based on the criteria that we're developing at the moment, and we have a sort of draft set of criteria, but it would lead to misinterpretation. And that's, as my point is, we don't confirm that we're going fibre to the premise until such time as we issue the commencement notice to Telstra. That's the point of commitment.